Good morning, everyone. I know by the looks of the thumbnail, you think something cool is about to happen here on our farm. Well, you're right. But before something cool happens here, we actually have to take something somewhere else. And before we even do that, we gotta go to the livestock barn and get it cleaned up so that we can actually use the item that you saw in the thumbnail. At the end of the day, we have not used a dump trailer on our farm to bring sawdust, which is the bedding we use for our animals during the winter. Partially because we didn't really think that it would work, and the height of the barn roof is not very high, so it makes it difficult to dump it. And then the other thing is, I just don't have a use for a dump trailer other than moving that. And our animals are only in here 3 months of the year. So 3 months of the year to use a trailer every other week, or even let's say that as we get bigger, we use it once a week. It's still kind of hard to justify using something for 3 months and paying, $15,000 or $20,000 for it. This demo is going to give us the opportunity to see whether or not it's actually going to be worth it for us. But before we do any of that, I gotta get all this stuff moving around. I'll have to use the skid steer for that. I can move those, and all these can get kicked out too. Yeah, this is what our bedding pretty much looks like during the winter, right? It's several inches thick. There we go. So that spot's a little thicker than what it really should be. We generally aim for about 2 to 3 inches. That's probably closer to 4. And the reason being is because, one, concrete gets cold in the winter. The other is the simple fact that I wouldn't want to lay on concrete for any time at all, let alone for 3 months. And I've never been pregnant myself, but I'm going to assume my wife, when she was pregnant, would probably not want to lay on a concrete floor either. Most of our sheep are pregnant when they come in here. So we want to keep them comfortable, but we also want to keep it sanitary. So if it's just concrete, right, and they're peeing and pooping on it, that's what they're going to lay on, is pee and poop. Whereas if they have the sawdust, right, every time they walk across it, right, they don't pick their feet up all the way. They're going to do just like I am, and they're going to end up kicking some of the sawdust around, and that sawdust is going to get on top of the manure or the urine, whatever it is that's on top of the sawdust bedding at that time. So that helps to keep it to where it's not a hygiene disaster, I guess. The last thing is, these guys are used to being in pasture, right? So if I had them on concrete like this, right, and this concrete doesn't hurt your feet, so I could step on it. However, if I kept walking around on it all day, it's going to start hurting my feet. It's going to do the same thing to their hooves. While, yes, it would keep them trimmed, which would be convenient, it will also make it to where they are sore. Not like a open sore, but just tender in general, because they're worn down so far. You gotta remember, they're not on concrete at all the rest of the year. As you may or may not have guessed by shuffling everything around, this barn doubles as dry storage during summertime. So sometimes we bring our tractor in here and it kind of sits so it's out of the way of the barn. Other times we bring our mower conditioner in here, or the hay rake won't fit through the doors, but sometimes the baler, the brush hog. Lots of different things sometimes get parked in here during the summer, so that's kind of why it's all crazy right now. Yes, we should build a actual barn. Yeah, we have a shop that we use to work on equipment, but we really need somewhere to actually, like a barn for dry storage, or at least some more lean-tos, so we can keep everything out of the weather. it would make it nice because during hay season, a lot of times we try to prep everything while it's raining, which is nice, but it's also inconvenient because then I have nowhere to put it once it's staged and ready to go. So it's worth it though. I'm a firm believer in when you leave equipment in the weather, it's just gonna go downhill because the sun, the UV rays is rough on it. It's rough on hydraulic hoses. It's just a rough situation. Honey, no, back. One. Honey, no, back. All right, so my buddy just got here. He's taking a leak. We'll get going here shortly. This is what we're gonna use to demo how a dump trailer will work, or if it will work with our operation. We'll have to back through right there in the barn and then just back straight up, which would be the harder of parts. Other than that, it's a really nice trailer. It's a 2019 PJ, 20-foot, obviously dump bed, 3-foot sides, 10,000 pound axles, I believe. Yeah, 10,000 pound axles. Pretty nice. And it's actually really convenient that it's shorter because our trailer is a little bit more of a headache to maneuver just because of how it's long. So I grab my wallet, we gotta run to the sawmill, grab some sawdust, and we'll be back. We'll just take you for the ride so you can hear the sweet engine noises. Well, I mean, GoPro batteries don't last very long. That's not my fault. Max was nice enough to let us use his trailer, though. We're demoed, I guess. What we've learned was that one's just going to be a little too big for our operation. But one that's like 14 foot or something like that would be about perfect. And then the other thing is, it doesn't flow. It doesn't have enough weight to really flow off the trailer, I guess. So we learned that too. But thankfully, Max was nice enough to climb up there and get it out for me. But if you're looking for ways to haul sawdust, a dump trailer is the way to do it. Just make sure you got one that, I mean, actually, it worked all right because we was able to fit between the rafters and the boards in the rafters. It's just 20 foot's just too much, but it holds the perfect amount. We could have got 6 loads in there. I mean, it would have barely fit, but it would have fit.
Yeah, well, crushing it down doesn't help it come out either.
No, it didn't. But it helped it stay in while we were driving, so, you know, give and take.